Jonathan Yost. He's a con man, wanted in over 7 states for his fraudulent schemes. Tune into our show to learn how he hustles people out of their money and where they are now. Get the inside scoop on preventing yourself from being conned by following along as we unfold this story. Welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Josh.
Y'all, I'm fed up. I already know I've lost so much money. I've lost so much time. It has my fiance a part of this. You know what I mean? Like now it's like there's so many factors involved in it. So I'm very frustrated. And we ended up driving. First of all, I didn't even say this. We drove to Mexico
From where?
from Atlanta, Georgia.
Ooh,
Oh my goodness.
We drove to
wow.
Mexico because if
Wow.
we have, he couldn't fly. And with all of his charges and everything, he made it seem as if, us getting over the border with COVID would be an issue. And it may have been, but we could have flown over there. We could have flew, but he didn't want to. So we drove and we took the Jeep that was supposedly his, Toya's, and then my truck, and we drove. I think that trip was 20 hours, or it was something around that time. Because once we got inside Mexico from San Antonio, it took us about 11 hours there, and it takes 11 hours from Atlanta to Texas in general. And then we drove another 11 inside Mexico to
And
get to
he was with
Torreon.
you in the car?
Yeah, like he was either driving the other Jeep, well, actually riding in the other Jeep. He would only drive every now and then. He would never really drive. Um, and then he would ride in my truck as well. And man, we made that entire trip. And the day, like a couple of days before we were supposed to go to Torian, go to Mexico City. Then the gut feeling came back. It was just one of those things where at this point it was like it was the last straw for me. Like I knew the money wasn't coming for the movie. I knew that I was now in a battle with the Shar for the play. Um, I knew that Shantae, like the footage was probably a goner. Couldn't get the footage back. Um, at this point, it just all hit me that this guy was really who I people had been saying and what I had seen on the internet. And I was just trying to believe in the good in him. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I didn't really want to. I didn't. Nobody wants to believe that you're being, you know, conned at all. Period. You lose money, you win, you make money. That's one thing. But this guy walked everyone into a door that literally felt like the door and was actually the door and turned around and just flipped it on you. So at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, it put me in a very depressed place. Like ever since that Mexico trip, I'm not depressed now. Let me just make that clear. I'm totally not depressed now. But
That's good.
leaving Mexico, I just want to say that because that's something that I know a lot of other people that were apart may not be able to say the same. And Kirk, I know we had a confidential conversation out, but there's so many people that mentally it literally toils with it. I still think about it. It's like you're not gonna forget. I forgive the guy. I don't. At the end of the day, if I saw him in person, would I need to handle some business? Yeah, but I don't wish it on anyone. I don't wish on anyone to go through what I was dealing with because when you sell, like when it's your dream, it's not even just your dream. It's your livelihood at stake. Like if I bring my family into stuff, I bring my fiance, who's soon to be wife. Shameless plug. I get married next Sunday, May 15th.
Nice.
So just want to put that out there.
Yeah, congrats.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Congrats.
lyric, I love you. And
Who's a great singer too. I
I
just
brought her
listened
in a
to
part
her.
of stuff, and yes, she's amazing. A great singer, performer, writer. We're a production duo, so we do everything together. But with that being said, she was an inspiring, and she still is, actress, entertainer. She can host stuff, and so we're doing all these shows, and she's getting to do that. And it's like then you turn around, and then I'm like, man, I got her into this. You know what I mean? I start thinking about man, like I done brought so many people in here thinking it's one thing. I got my guy who's another film score. I got all these people, family, like people that are like family to me. And at this point, we leave Mexico early. There was a couple of people who wanted to ride back because he had promised everyone a stipend for the week. Because I told him I couldn't leave unless I made a certain, like I needed a certain amount before we left. Um, Everybody else, I don't know if they negotiated that. I did. I was like, because at this point I didn't trust him anyway. So it was like, and you shouldn't work with anyone you don't trust. I know that now. Like if you don't trust them like a little bit, like what are you doing? So he didn't give the other actors a stipend. So they started feeling some type of way, and two of the actors rode back with us, Junior and LeVay. Amazing too. They're amazing. They rode back with us, and Junior's dad, James, who happened to be what Latino made it sound like his brother from another mother. They go back years and all of this stuff. James met him maybe like 5 days before I met Latino the first time. So with that being said, we leave Mexico, come back to Atlanta. He comes back. We, all the shows that are now at this point, um, it's all up in shambles at this point. Like we get back from Mexico, which is how that everything else leading up to it didn't make sense. The money never came. I was hitting him up every day. He was getting way more and more distant, responding less. Like I told y'all in the beginning, he was always hit me up, you know what I mean, staying in contact. And so he just started fading, slowly fading. And when we finished the documentary and the Florida thing came up, that's when I knew. I knew it then that like the Florida part of it, I was like, man, this dude is really not about to come through for a lot of people. And a lot of the people that he won't come through for wouldn't have been in this if it wasn't for me. So I started blaming myself for so many things that I couldn't even control. And
But you were just trying to help them out. It's not like, you were doing a favor that turns
yeah, I
horrible.
was. I was I was definitely doing a favor, but it went bad. And what I take from all of those experiences with him is I will never forget what it made me feel like. One thing I always would say is people don't always remember what you say, but they always remember how you make them feel. And the feelings I felt from Jonathan, I would never want anyone else to feel that, experience that, go through that. And like Kirk and I said the other day, after dealing with all of this, there is no way on this planet moving forward that this will ever happen to me or anyone else connected to me ever again. I don't care what it is. We might deal with so many other things, but dealing with a scam artist on this level is like probably it's all time. This
Wait,
is like a Hall of Fame
do
Guinness
you find
World
yourself?
Record
I've
book.
noticed talking to people. Do you find yourself maybe too cautious, where it's to a
Oh,
hindrance?
okay. I get what you're saying. No, I don't think so. I think I follow my gut more. Um, I don't even
That's
think it's like I don't want to walk on eggshells, so I'm not gonna. I get why you're saying that. It's like okay, well, like because now it's like oh now I'm too scared to take stuff. At first, that was the feeling that I was having a little bit. Like I don't know. Now when I look at people, there is a chip on the shoulder. There's a chip
mhm,
on the shoulder, and there's something to look out for. Okay,
gotcha.
so you were asking Clay about just to catch it back up about do I find myself kind of hesitating to take other opportunities?
Right.
So yeah, like I don't find myself hesitating to take other opportunities, but following my gut, like it has been the biggest thing I can do because at the end of the day, like I just said, that was a setup for all of us to make a comeback, and I really feel that, and I will always stand by that. Is no matter how hard it gets, um, I will choose to find that silver lining, and I can definitely thank Lyric for that, as my soon-to-be wife for she having that same thing. I saw certain things, I felt certain things, and I kept going. And now I'm at the point now where I do have a chip on my shoulder, and it's not one of those things where I'm just jumping into anything, but it is a thing where like, okay, if this is a good opportunity, I look at it for what it is. Let's look at the paperwork. Let me look at you guys' eyes. Like when we met the other day, I'm looking at you. I'm feeling you. You know what I mean? And if you can't have this conversation like this and you look at somebody's face and you be able to really have that bond and human connection that COVID tried to prevent, then how can you do business any other way? At the end of the day, I know moving forward, I won't do anything else like over the phone. We met in person. Now recommendations from people that I meet in person, that's different. It's like Kirk, like we talked over the phone, but you with Clay was with me. It's different, but that's kind of my mentality moving forward. Is like it's the relationships are everything, and who they come from are everything. And timing is very important. I think the timing of everything too. If it's too good to be true, then it probably is. And all the cliche sayings that I felt like came out as soon as this whole thing was done, because I started thinking about everything like this is real. Like you can't expect to have something that's just too good to be true. You're gonna have to put some work in for it. You're gonna have to put some time in for it. You're gonna have some sleepless nights. You're gonna go through for it. And I think dealing with Jonathan allowed for me to go through the most at one time. And this, mind you guys, this was all like the first half of 2021.
It's
So this
crazy.
is just a year ago. And I'm so glad that I made it on the other side. I'm not, you know, it's no shade to anyone, but I'm glad that, I didn't go to drugs. I didn't go to anything crazy. I didn't lose my mind. I didn't, I kept the faith and stayed with it, and definitely kept praying, just kept doing other things, but not also, I also, Clay, to get to you at this point too, I didn't start doing stuff to take away the time so that way I wouldn't have to think about it either, though. Because it's one thing to suppress it, and I didn't want to do that either because often we get busy so that way we don't really have to deal with it. I dealt with it. I sat with it for a couple of days, and really was like, okay, what could I have done better? I said this to you the other day. I really looked at what I could have done better because there's certain moments and certain feelings and gut moments that I didn't follow. I didn't follow through on. So there's no way I could just be like, oh man, this dude by himself. I can't just throw it all on him, but I can throw most of it on him, you know, and and we all can, and I think that good people such as myself, you guys, it's tough for most people to come back from something like this. It really is tough, and I know some people haven't recovered, and we equally know some people that are not doing too well still to this day, and that may even be on the side of a spectrum where they didn't have much going on, like we already did. I was already in a place of like, I'm really fine. Like if I want to go back to playing drums or want to go back to do something else, I can. But there's other people that when this was a dream that they were wanting coming to them, that was it for them. And what are those people doing now?
Right.
So that's kind of where it is. My heart does go out to them, the people that were a part, the production crews, all these different people that were around and a part of it. Whether they got out before something went bad or just even spending your time, because one thing we don't get back is time. And there was some hours put in. So I'm grateful for everything that's coming into the picture now for myself and us now all being connected and teaming up with everything we're going to do, whatever it is. I don't care. If it's Legos, we're going to figure out how to make Legos amazing. My guy, I can't take credit for that. My guy, Joshua Chassis, one of my business partners in France, he says it all the time. He was like, if you want to play Legos, let's figure out how to make you money playing Legos. And I say that now to say that through all of this, I know we're able to take from that and then grow whatever we want to grow from it. And I do think that what you guys are doing with this podcast is amazing because the word has to keep traveling about what's going on and what really happened, not just with me, Spencena, but everyone, you guys' story. And for this to be out for the public domain, like we want the Netflix, we want ABC, we want all these shows all these networks, we need this word out because this guy is still running rapid, and I don't he could be anywhere right now doing the same thing, and no one cares, and it's like the people, the powers that be, we have to keep going. And so I just want to take a moment too to just say to you guys, I really just appreciate you guys for having me on in general, just because this is a great cause. This is a great moment to shine light on this, and then also create it in a format like you guys are doing that allow people to, in a productive way, share and then move forward. You know what I mean? It's one
Thank
thing to just share, but it's another thing to, okay, this, I shared this. Now I can move forward. I can grow that business. I can shoot the film that I really want to shoot. You know, like you guys, you're both already on other projects, doing your own thing, shooting your first feature film. You know what I mean? And I think that this is something that was much needed. It was so needed. So guys, I really appreciate you. I'm not closing out or anything. I'm just like trying to.
No, no, no.
I'm
Well, we got
appreciate.
more questions for you.
Yeah, no,
Well,
give me
I
more.
mean, I
Give me
wasn't
more
going to
questions.
interrupt. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, shucks.
Thank you, Josh.
No, I appreciate you
That's
guys.
really great.
No, absolutely,
Just
absolutely. Clay, whatever questions you have.
going back to when was the point that you actually realized that Jonathan Yost was actually conning you?
I think the moment I really realized it was because, like I was saying, in Mexico, we were doing interviews and stuff. We were living like rock stars, what it felt like. So it hadn't really clicked.
Did-
Even when I
About
left,
yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say it's a funny thing about Mexico is what happened in Mexico. And I guess in between him being with you or you guys leaving, he was setting up another film over there, because one of the reasons we found out that he was a con guy was there is a lawyer slash casting guy who was on the set or involved with his actors on the set in Mexico. And he actually called the FBI, and he's very good friends with uh, someone we had on set who's friends with Clay, who brought Clay in, and he called her in person during our filming, saying, "Are you on this set? What's going on?" They're like, "What? What do you mean? No, that we're not on this set." Like they didn't want to admit they were on the set, and he's like, "Well, I called the FBI on this guy. He's a big con artist. This is his name. This is what's going on." And then they brought that to me. So when he was in Mexico with you guys going on like whatever shows you guys were promoting, he was using that traction to develop another project over there. And because of that happening, then it led to him being exposed on our set.
Got it. That makes sense. And then by this time, we still hadn't met. So the
Yeah.
contacts that he had introduced us to in Mexico that we still talk to now, yeah, by the time it got time for the show to be sold, I had, like I said, we had left already. So speaking to them now, he just ended up not going through with it. Like we're
It's
there,
so
we
weird,
finished
huh?
it. It's
What's
just
the
weird.
goal? What's the goal?
Yeah, like what is the main? And so getting back to, initially answering what you were saying, when I knew when we were shooting the documentary, he had left for Florida. We had come back from Mexico, all of the things are shot. And I remember talking with one of the camera people, Chris Jordan, and I remember him was getting ready to go down to Florida to shoot. And it's just this overwhelming feeling I got where like he wasn't answering none of my calls. Um, but then he would be hitting me up asking about when they were gonna come down there so that they could start filming. He was not, he was every time. Now at this point I'm still, asking about the movie money. Like, yo, bro, like I'm not doing anything else with you until I get this bread. At this point I've had enough. I'm fed up. But at that point I knew right when Florida happened. When he went to Spencena and they started shooting, I knew that I knew that he was full blown. I knew that nothing was gonna come through, and the money was gone. And I knew that at this point Spencena was in trouble.
Right. And she told me you
And
told her. You let her know.
I pleaded with her. I remember Lyric and I being together. I pleaded with her. at the time, 'cause I was still playing at the church I was telling y'all about that Latino got baptized at, and gave his life to God, and he pulled the whole thing. And like this guy, y'all, he was in my house. I have footage of him being at my crib, us editing stuff, doing a barbecue. I really welcomed this guy into my home. I'm sorry, sob story, but it's real. This is all of the things that were happening. So by the time we get to this point, I've realized that I've been bamboozled. I've been all of the things that we say when you're just joking. It's like, man, I was bamboozled. I was taken advantage of. It's like, no, like I all the way I lived it. This guy slept on my studio floor. Even going to the church I was going to, he stayed with me, hotel room. Like what I'm saying? Like we kicked it heavy, and it felt like there was something being built for sure, solid. And made me feel like I was gonna be his right hand man. You know what I mean? And so I knew that would have been around closer to May, like right now at a year, for sure. That would have been closer to May when I knew that he was definitely a con artist and this money was never coming, and that I was just going to have to deal with the losses. And whenever I got the chance to be able to pay everyone back and restore stuff to people, I would. And I had to send out a mass email that next day. Hey guys, I'm so sorry. This guy turned out to be who I didn't want to think that he was. Because people, by this time, y'all, people have been hitting me up already, like, yo, and they're looking at stuff online, you know, and I'm like, no, he's not like, no, he used to do certain things. He don't do that no more, because what's the picture he's painting to me? He's coming to the church. He's doing all these things, but then you go look at his history. And so they don't see what I'm seeing on a day to day. So it's two different lives. First of all, who has time to live all of these lives at one time?
From what is
It's
it?
possible. Apparently, it's possible, right?
It's a
Apparently.
2-year span where it's crazy. I mean, because we think that he was working on 2 movies while he was working on ours all day long. You like it was. Where does the time he doesn't sleep?
He did it.
No
And
rest
when he
for the
did,
wicked.
But you got to think like he was doing this. So he left you. You were trying to get a hold of him. He's in Mexico trying to do this con. Gets busted. Goes over. Sets up with Spencena. You find out that he's going to be doing this movie with Spencena, and like to him, it's like, oh man, I got busted in Mexico. Now what? Oh yeah, I got this thing in Florida. I'll fly over to Florida. Okay, let's set this up. Joshua's calling me. Oh, I'm not going to pick up from this guy. Like, what is this guy thinking?
at this point, he knew, because I told Chris Jordan I had came up with a plan to get them out of there. Like, and then they ended up telling, I think Chris ended up, sorry, Chris, to put you out like that, but it's the truth. I love you. We've talked since then. You're fine. We're good. But
We'll get him on the show. He can explain.
yeah, absolutely. He'll explain it for himself. It's fine. But it's the truth. I have nothing to hold back. Like, this is not something that we all went through that's like confidential, that just we can't, no, bump that. No, because this is a story that people need to know. And I'm not afraid. I'm like, this is not, I want people to know. So with that being said, Jonathan calls me basically trying to cuss me out, and I cussed him back out too. He was like, oh man, I thought we was
I'm
close. You
sorry,
know what I'm saying?
Joshua. I'm sorry. Can we go back? We didn't really talk about Chris Jordan. So you called Chris Jordan and told him, and then I'm assuming, because we did talk to Spencena and hear about it, he called Jonathan and told him, or he, like, what's the story there?
Well, so Chris, I told Chris what I told Spencena, basically like, yo, this dude is legitimately the con artist, and we got to get you out of there. Got to get you out of there. Don't make it a big deal. Just discreetly, just leave. You know what I'm saying? Get away so we can try to catch him in the, you know what I mean, in the act. I'm in mine. I'm like, this is gonna work. It's perfect, bro. Like, all you got to do is just, when y'all get done filming at night, just leave. Just It's simple. He ends up telling Latino because he thinks I'm lying. So
That would have been a good
he,
plan too.
I mean, it was about to work. I had Spencena. We've been talking about it. And he ends up telling her it's okay because he was under the same trance we all lived at a certain point.
Blinded by the lights.
And
There you go.
blinded, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen, Blinded by the Lights, episode 25. But it's just he was, and so like I keep saying that Jonathan calls me, and he just goes off. Man, how could you say all of these things about me, man? I'm a changed person. Obviously, praying on that. He's like, man, I don't live that life anymore, man. I always make sure you straight. I'm like, bro, I'm missing mad money, bro. Like, no. And so we going at it, and I'm letting him have it. I was like, bro, do you think who you talking to? And then he's getting the other side of me. I'm like, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? You know where I live. You know what I'm saying? And I'm with it. And so he just said and everything, and I just hung up. I hung up because I was so furious. I was so furious that if he had been standing in front of me, he would definitely wouldn't be living. And that was one of those moments where to Chris, I was like, oh man, he's blinded, so he can't see it. Spencena is in the thick of it now because they're already working on it, and she knows what to know, but now it's getting out of it and trying to get everybody paid. She still thinks she's gonna get everybody paid, and I'm like, Spencena, it's not happening. It's over. It's not happening. It was not happening before it was happening. Like, it's not going to be a thing. So she just, she took the L. Well, she took the lesson because I don't really say losses like that, but she took the lesson of, man, he was really doing it. And then by this time, Chris is still in shock. I'm so far removed. I've just gone on with my life. Like I said, y'all, I took my time to self-medicate, like, reading my word, just starting to really get myself on track. And then, Chris is reaching back out to me not too long after, like, yo, man, like he really was on that. I'm like, I was trying to tell you.
But
And I
see,
couldn't be mad. I couldn't be mad though.
yeah, well, there's a lot of people don't say, like, a lot of people will find out who he is and won't like go back to set and go, hey, everybody, stop this right now, get the hell out of here. There's that. You got to think that happens every movie. Every movie he does, someone finds out.
And
And
it's like,
doesn't
nope,
help.
it doesn't
Yeah.
help because people don't know how to communicate and articulate what it is and on the spot and be okay with just saying it. Like somebody has to say it. And when you keep holding all of that in, you're not helping anyone. Like people feel like if you don't say something, then you don't get involved. Not saying something is just as strong of a statement as saying something. And we all know that. You're not even giving yourself a voice. And silence is the only key at certain moments. It's not key when someone's life is on the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it was good that you spoke up to both of them, regardless of their actions. And just, just for everybody that's going to be coming on the show, he manipulated everybody. And, he pins people against each other. He separates people. He manipulates and like lies to people. And the thing is, everybody that's been involved that he conned has such a great heart. And that's what he took advantage of. So the shame and the disgust is really on only one person in all of this.
Yeah.
Jonathan Yost.
Yeah. Yeah. And he has to deal with that at the end of the day, guys. And again, I just appreciate y'all for this time and moment to really express this and get the word out to way more people about this. And if you see this guy anywhere, man, please speak up, say something, do something.
It's like
This
you
is
said, he's doing it right now. He's doing this right now to somebody.
he's doing this right now, like absolutely. And he's very crafty. He's very crafty. But guys, again, I really appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you so
Seriously.
much for coming on, Joshua. All right, so let's leave
Okay, bro.
let's leave this on a good note. Joshua, do you have anything good coming up? We know you're getting married. That's really exciting. How are things turning out for you? What's your future look like from all of this?
Absolutely. The future is bright. The future is bright. Most people say the sky's the limit. I think that's the launching pad for me.
Woo!
I'm moving back and forth between Atlanta and LA. I will soon be bi-coastal, me and my soon to be wife. At this point, we have been married. We are signing paperwork on May 15th. Okay.
I can't wait for that wedding. I got my tux.
Right. And we're gonna stream everyone in. We're gonna stream everybody in. But yeah. So that's coming up. The wedding's coming up. I have a couple of projects that I'm producing. As just it's confidential, so I can't speak about it too much. But one of the artists that I named, I'll have some stuff coming out with them. But myself as an artist, I have music that will be coming out. My wife will have music coming out, lyric, Riche, for everybody. And man, it's so much. Like I'm excited. It's just so much inspiration in this time. I think that the most beautiful thing I can say is that I'm gonna be all over the place. It won't just be music, it'll be sports and entertainment, have some boxing matches, stuff I'm involved in. So putting together, I'm all over the place, guys. Like I don't there's no limit, and I won't put a limit on it. And whatever, at God's speed, I'm gonna just move the rest of this season of my life. So I thank you guys again.
That
Thank
is
you guys
great.
again.
So
Thank
wonderful
you so
to
much,
hear.
Josh.
Joshua, it's so wonderful to hear. And I just want to thank you for coming on the show with me and Clay. You're so brave. You stood up for other people. You looked out for other people. I know it was a lot to deal with. And it's so great to see your growth and triumph through this and where you're headed. If anybody listening to this show has any experience with Jonathan Yost and would like to be on here, please give us an email. It'll be in the description. Other than that, I guess that's the end for this episode, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Talk to you soon.
Peace, everybody.